Do the people you love really love you, or are they just with you for your money? Alexander Stone risked everything to find out the answer to this question, and the result would change his life forever. Before we start the story, don't forget to comment below and let us know which city you're watching from. And at the end, enjoy the story. Alexander Stone sat in his glass-walled office on the 47th floor of a Manhattan skyscraper. The city lights sparkled beneath his feet, and he could feel the weight of being one of the world's most powerful men on his shoulders. As the 32-year-old CEO of Stone Enterprises, with his $5 billion fortune, companies in 3 different countries, and influence on Wall Street, he was one of America's most recognized names. He looked at the photo in the crystal frame on his desk. It was their engagement photos with Victoria Sterling. Victoria was one of New York high society's queens. Perfect blonde hair, flawless beauty, and always having the right words to say. They'd been together for 3 years and engaged for 6 months. But that evening, Alexander's world was about to be turned upside down. His assistant Sarah entered his office with red eyes. "Mr. Stone, I need to show you something," she said, holding a digital recording device. "What's this, Sarah?" This is going to hurt, but you need to know. Last night I recorded Miss Victoria with her friends at the Plaza Hotel. They don't know about it, of course." Alexander frowned. "Why did you secretly record me?" Sarah hesitated. Because I had suspicions about Ms. Victoria, and unfortunately, I was right." Sarah played the device in her hand. Victoria's voice could be heard clearly. "Of course I love Alexander, but do I really love him? Is what I feel for him love or just a sense of security? I don't know, but I know this. If Alexander didn't have money, I wouldn't be with him for even a second. I mean, he's so serious and boring, but he has billions, and he gives me the life I want." Another woman's voice was heard on the recording. "But what about love? Don't you feel romantic at all?" Victoria laughed bitterly. "What is romance anyway? I want a luxurious life. I want security. I want respect in society. Alexander provides these. Love and all that is nonsense. Money means real security." Alexander signaled to stop the recording. His heart felt like it had stopped. Victoria's words echoed in his brain. "If Alexander didn't have money, I wouldn't be with him for even a second." "Sarah, when was this recording made?" "Last night, sir. Ms. Victoria and her friends Celine and Jennifer were planning a bachelorette party together." Alexander stood up and went to the window. 3 years. For 3 years he thought Victoria loved him. Of course he knew money had an effect, but he never thought it was completely for money. "Sir," Sarah continued slowly, "there's more." Alexander turned around. "More?" "Yes. Miss Victoria has also been seeing Richard Pemberton. He's also a billionaire, you know. I think she sees you as a backup plan." Alexander's face hardened like stone. "How did you find this out?" "Our private detective David has been following her for a few weeks. Here are the photos." Sarah handed over several photos. Victoria and a middle-aged, handsome man in a romantic restaurant, kissing. Alexander threw the photos on the desk. His 3-year relationship was a lie. Victoria didn't love him. She only loved his money. And moreover, she was cheating on him. "Sarah, I want to see Victoria's true face," Alexander said with a dangerous gleam in his eyes. "What do you mean, sir?" "I'm going to test her. If she really loves me, she'll stand by me even when I don't have money. But if she's only with me for money, this is very risky, sir. What if she really leaves?" Alexander smiled, but it was a cold smile. "Then I'll have dodged a bullet." The next morning, Alexander invited Victoria to meet at Le Bernardin, New York's most luxurious restaurant. Victoria arrived on time, looking perfect as always. A Chanel dress, Louboutin shoes, and her newly purchased Hermès bag. "Darling," Victoria said, kissing Alexander on the cheek. "I'm so excited. We're meeting with the pastry chef today, aren't we? And the florist is coming too." Alexander held her hand. Victoria's hands were soft and well-maintained, with no signs of work. "Victoria, sit down. I need to talk to you about something serious." Victoria's smile faded a little. "Do you need to talk so seriously? You're scaring me." Alexander took a deep breath. He needed to perform this perfectly. Victoria, I haven't known how to tell you for the past few weeks, but I can't hide it anymore. What can't you hide, Alex? Victoria was getting more anxious. I'm out of money. As he said these words, Alexander carefully watched every change in Victoria's face. First surprise, then incomprehension, then fear. What do you mean? Victoria's voice started to tremble. What I mean is very simple. Stone Enterprises is bankrupt. We've been having terrible financial problems for the last 6 months. But I couldn't tell you. Rival companies cornered us. We lost our big clients. And finally I learned that the main bank pulled our credit. Victoria's face turned white as chalk. The water glass in her hand started to shake. How much did you lose? Everything, Alexander said with an Oscar-worthy performance. The house, cars, company, investments, everything will go. We even have debts. Victoria jumped up, her chair falling over. Other customers in the restaurant started looking at them. This can't be, Victoria shouted. You're Alexander Stone. This can't be. Unfortunately, Victoria, and that's why we need to cancel our wedding, at least until our financial situation improves. Victoria stared at him with wide eyes. Cancel? Are you canceling the wedding? I can't offer you a luxurious life, Victoria. Maybe I never will. Victoria grabbed her purse and got up from the table. I'm not ready for this situation, Alexander. I need time to think. How much time? Victoria hesitated. I don't know. This is such a big shock. I'm leaving. And Victoria left him there and walked away without looking back. Alexander sat there alone with the pain of seeing Victoria's true face. When the waiter came and asked about the bill, Alexander said, "The lady had a very urgent situation. I'll pay the bill." As he went outside, he saw Victoria walking away quickly. She took out her phone and was calling someone. Alexander wondered who she was calling. The next day, Alexander did something he had never done in his life. Instead of a suit, he wore simple clothes, jeans, a white t-shirt, and sneakers. He took off his expensive watch, removed credit cards from his wallet, and left only cash. What does this feel like? He thought, looking in the mirror. What's it like to be poor? Walking through Manhattan's streets, he noticed people looked at him differently. He no longer looked like a respectable businessman. He looked ordinary. No one could tell who he was. While walking around West Village, a small cafe caught his attention. Emma's Corner. In the window was a handwritten sign saying, "Daily Special Homemade Apple Pie." The cafe was small but had a warm atmosphere. When he entered, the smell of coffee and freshly baked cake greeted him. There was no music playing, but the warm conversations of customers sounded pleasant to his ears. The woman at the counter smiled at him. She was about 28 to 30 years old, her brown hair tied in a messy ponytail. Her apron was stained with coffee, her hands slightly rough from constant work, but there was incredible warmth in her eyes. "Welcome." The woman's voice was sincere and genuine. "First time here, I guess?" "I'm Emma. I run the cafe." "Alexander," Alexander said. For the first time when meeting someone, he was only saying his name, not CEO of Stone Enterprises. "What can I get you, Alexander?" "Our coffee is really good. I grind it myself. And we have apple pie, fresh from the oven this morning." "A coffee, please. Black." While Emma was preparing the coffee, she continued talking. "How did you find this place?" "It's not exactly a central location." "I was walking. It caught my eye. It looks very cozy." "Thank you. This was actually my grandmother's cafe. After she died, I took over." "Well, it's not exactly mine. I pay rent, but I dream of having my own cafe someday." Alexander carefully listened to Emma's way of speaking. Victoria never spoke this naturally. She was always calculated, always image-focused. "It's nice to follow your dreams," Alexander said. Emma looked at him for a long time. "You look tired. Are you going through tough times?" Alexander was surprised. When was the last time someone asked how he felt? Even Victoria never asked. "It's a bit of a complicated period," he said honestly. "I understand. Sometimes life puts us in difficult situations. But after every storm, the sun comes out. Your coffee is ready. As Alexander took his coffee, he touched Emma's hands. It was like electricity passing through him. He had never experienced this feeling. He sat at a small table in the cafe and examined the surroundings. There were customers, an elderly couple planning a vacation over a map, a young mother feeding her baby, a girl who looked like a university student studying. Everyone was acting naturally. No one was trying to impress anyone. Emma was bringing a bill to a customer when Alexander heard the elderly man say, "Sorry, Emma, I'm a bit short on money this week." Emma smiled. "No problem, Mr. Martinez. You can pay next week." "But Emma, you're also a working girl. We all get into trouble sometimes. Don't worry about it." Alexander was amazed watching this scene. Victoria would never act like this. Emma was kind and understanding even when there was no money involved. As he finished his coffee, Emma came to the counter. "How was it?" "Great. Really delicious." "Thank you. I hope you'll come again. You said you just moved to this neighborhood, right?" Alexander knew he was going to lie, but strangely he wanted to be honest with Emma. "Actually, I'm staying somewhere temporarily for now." "Homeless?" There was no judgment in Emma's voice, just interest. "Something like that." Emma looked at him warmly. "That must be hard, but you seem like a strong person. Things will work out." Alexander got up and paid the bill. "Thank you, Emma. Not just for the coffee, but for being kind." "Always. Our door's open to everyone." That night, Alexander waited for news from Victoria in his penthouse. The phone didn't ring. No messages came. Nothing. The next morning, his assistant Sarah called him. "Sir, Ms. Victoria was seen at the Plaza Hotel last night with Richard Pemberton." Alexander wasn't surprised. "Just for one night?" "No, sir. I think she moved there. She had luggage." So Victoria couldn't even withstand the test. 24 hours. Just 24 hours. Alexander went to Emma's cafe again that day. When Emma saw him, her face lit up. "Alexander, you came back. I'm so happy." "Me too. Last night I was sitting at home thinking, and the best part of my day was talking to you." Emma blushed slightly. "Oh, you're so sweet. What should we try today? I just made banana bread." Alexander tried the banana bread, and it was truly perfect. Everything Emma's hands touched seemed special. "Where did you learn to make this?" "My grandmother. She taught me that cooking isn't just about following recipes. You have to do it with love. Emma, she used to say, if you don't enjoy making it, the person eating it won't enjoy it either." That's a beautiful philosophy, isn't it? I always try to do everything with love, making coffee, talking with customers, living my life. Alexander looked at her for a long time. Victoria never talked like this. Victoria was always result-oriented. What does this bring me? Does this move me forward? "Emma, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you happy? I mean, is your life the way you want it?" Emma thought. I think about how I wish I had my own cafe, wish I had more money, wish I could make my bigger dreams come true. But overall, I'm happy. I'm doing work I love, I'm making people happy, I can cover my brother's college expenses. Maybe they're not big dreams, but they're enough for me. Something moved in Alexander's heart. Emma's modesty, her honesty. "You have a brother?" "Yes, Carlos. He's 19, studying engineering at Columbia. Very smart kid. It's been 2 years since Mom died. I took responsibility for him." "Your father?" Emma's face scrunched up a little. "He left us when we were very young. Mom raised 2 kids alone. She was a nurse, worked very hard. When she got cancer, the hospital bills were very heavy." Alexander's heart tightened. Even when Emma was explaining what hardships she faced, she wasn't complaining, just telling the story. "I'm sorry." "Thank you. But Mom always used to say, don't get stuck in the past, Emma. Build the future." I try to do that too. After this conversation, as Alexander was going home, he thought about his relationship with Victoria. Victoria never struggled. She found everything ready-made. Her family's money, her beauty, her social status. She never faced real difficulties. That evening, Victoria finally called. "Alexander," Victoria's voice was cold. "We need to talk." "Sure, Victoria, where are you?" "That doesn't matter. I think I need to move on without you." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I can't get used to this situation, Alexander. I'm used to a certain lifestyle. I have friends, a social circle. Are you leaving me?" Victoria was silent. Then, "Let's take a break. When you fix your situation, we can talk again." "Victoria, we've been together for 3 years. And it was a beautiful 3 years, Alexander. But I can't live like this." The phone hung up. What Alexander felt wasn't just surprise. Actually, he was relieved too. He had seen Victoria's true face and was no longer living in a lie. In the following days, Alexander started going to Emma's cafe regularly. He genuinely enjoyed talking with Emma and liked discovering her world. A week later, Alexander started observing the problems Emma's cafe faced. The espresso machine was old and constantly breaking down. Some of the chairs were wobbly, their paint peeling. Emma tried to fix these but couldn't succeed much because her money was limited. "How long has this machine been like this?" Alexander asked one day. "About 6 months," Emma said, trying to make it work by hitting the side of the machine. "The repairman wants at least $2,000. I'm trying to save up that much money." Alexander's heart ached. Victoria would spend $2,000 in a single shopping trip. For Emma, it was a big amount. "Aren't you losing customers?" "I'm losing some," Emma admitted. "Coffee takes long to make. Sometimes it can't be made at all. But what can I do? I'm doing my best." That night, Alexander thought about Emma's situation. This woman was very hardworking, very kind-hearted, but due to fate's trick, she was living in difficult conditions. Meanwhile, Victoria lived in luxury without working and still complained. The next day, Alexander sent a new espresso machine to the cafe on behalf of an anonymous benefactor. Emma was crying on the phone. "Alexander, can you believe it? Someone sent us a brand new Italian espresso machine. I don't know who it is, but this is a miracle." Alexander smiled. "Maybe one of your customers liked the cafe." "Impossible! No one here is that rich. This must be an angel's work." Emma's happiness warmed Alexander's heart. This small gesture was way below what Victoria spent in a day, but for Emma, it meant the world. As days passed, Alexander realized his feelings for Emma were turning into love. Emma's laughter, the way she thought about others, her perspective on life, the resilience she showed in the face of difficulties. Everything was perfect. Emma also started feeling a special closeness toward Alexander. Alexander's conversations, his thoughts, the sincere connection he made with people affected her. "Alexander," Emma said one day, "you're very different." "How different?" "Most men come here and talk about themselves. You always listen to me, ask questions. It's like you're really interested in me." "Because I really am interested in you, Emma." Emma blushed. "Now you're complimenting me." "I'm not complimenting. You really are an interesting woman. Strong, kind, hardworking. It's very rare to find these qualities together." The electricity between them was increasing. 2 weeks later, while Alexander was having a meeting at his company, his assistant Sarah rushed in panikedly. "Sir, Miss Victoria is here. She's waiting downstairs." Alexander was surprised. It had been 2 weeks since Victoria left him, and she hadn't even called. "Send her up." Victoria entered his office with her usual elegance, expensive clothes, perfect makeup, everything in place, but there was a strange expression in her eyes. "Alexander," Victoria said, approaching him, "I treated you badly." "Did you?" "Yes, I was in shock, caught unprepared. But now I thought about it, I should have stood by you until you fell." Alexander looked at her for a long time. "Did this occur to you after 2 weeks?" Victoria tried to stay strong. "Alexander, would you throw away our 3-year relationship so easily? I admit I made a mistake." "Victoria, you left me. You said, I can't live like this." I know, but I was wrong. Doesn't love overcome everything? We can overcome this difficulty together." Alexander stood up. He was curious about the reason for Victoria's sudden change. "Victoria, what's the situation with Pemberton?" Victoria's face changed. "Richard. He..." He turned out to be someone else. He wasn't what I thought. So that's how it was. Victoria came back when things didn't work out with Richard. Victoria, let's understand this. You loved me for my money, didn't you? What a ridiculous question, Alexander. Of course I love you. For my money. Victoria hesitated. She didn't know how to answer this question. Alexander, doesn't money matter at all? Let's be realistic. I'm used to a certain lifestyle. That's your answer, Victoria. You don't love me. You love my lifestyle. Victoria started crying. Alexander, please. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let's start over. But Alexander had met Emma now. Emma's pure love had overshadowed Victoria's calculated affection. Victoria, it's over between us. But Alexander. Goodbye, Victoria. Victoria looked at him desperately, then turned and left. Alexander was now truly free. That evening, Alexander went to Emma's café. When Emma saw him, she smiled as usual, but noticed something odd in Alexander's face. Are you okay, Alexander? You look tired. Emma, there's something very important I need to talk to you about. Emma became worried. What happened? Is something wrong? Alexander took a deep breath. It was time to tell the truth. Emma, I'm not exactly who I said I was. Emma frowned. What do you mean? My name really is Alexander Stone, but I'm actually very rich. I'm the CEO of Stone Enterprises. Emma stepped back. What? You might have seen me in the media. I'm a billionaire, Emma. Emma's face went white. You're kidding, right? Unfortunately, I'm not kidding. And I lied to you. I'm not actually homeless. I'm not poor. I live in a penthouse in Manhattan. Emma collapsed into her chair. Why? Why did you lie to me? Alexander reached out, but Emma pulled away. Emma, please listen. I had a fiancée, Victoria. But I suspected she loved me for my money. I told her I was poor to test her. She left me too. And then you decided to play games with me. No, Emma, maybe I thought that at first. But then everything changed. I fell in love with you. Emma stood up, her eyes filled with tears. In love? Is this the rich boy having fun with the poor girl? Emma, no, you don't understand. But Emma had already run outside. Alexander ran after her. Emma, wait! Emma turned around, tears streaming down her cheeks. You rich people are all the same. You think we're toys. You had fun with me, didn't you? Was it entertaining to watch the poor girl's reactions? Emma, that's not it. Isn't it? Well, what about that new espresso machine? That was your doing too, wasn't it? Alexander stayed silent. Emma understood from this that the answer was yes. I can't believe it. You deceived me. You played with my feelings. Emma, please, I really love you. But Emma had already returned to the cafe and locked the door behind her. Alexander was left at the door, heartbroken. In the following days, Alexander tried to convince Emma. He went to the cafe, but Emma ignored him. He sent flowers, Emma sent them back. He wrote letters, Emma didn't read them. Sarah, seeing Alexander's condition, was sad. Sir, maybe if you gave it some time. The woman is very angry. Sarah, my love for her is real. But how do I prove it? I don't know, sir. If you really love her, eventually Ms. Emma will understand too. But days were passing and there was no news from Emma. During this time, Victoria continued calling him. Alexander, please, listen to me. I really changed. But Alexander felt nothing for Victoria anymore. After tasting Emma's love, Victoria's fake emotions didn't affect him at all. 2 weeks later, Alexander learned that Emma's cafe was going to close. A neighbor told him, the building owner tripled the rent. Emma can't pay that much. Alexander immediately took action. He went to the building, talked to the owner. The man was very greedy. This area has become very valuable, the man said. I can get much higher rent for this place. I'm offering to buy the entire building, Alexander said. The man's eyes widened. What? I'll pay 3 times the building's value. My condition, Emma's cafe will continue to stay. She won't pay rent. The man immediately accepted, but Emma rejected this too. I don't need your help, Alexander, Emma said coldly. This isn't help, Emma. This is my way of showing I love you. You're trying to show your love with money, don't you understand? I don't want money from you. I want honesty from you. Alexander went home that night, admitting the truth of Emma's words. He was trying to impress her with money, just like everyone did to him. Alexander questioned himself for a long time that night. Emma was right. He was trying to impress Emma with money, but what Emma wanted was something else: honesty, sincerity, real love. The next morning, Alexander went to his company and called a meeting. Board members, managers, everyone was there. "Friends," Alexander said, "I'm resigning from Stone Enterprises." There was great surprise in the room. "Sir," said the CFO, "why?" "Because I don't want this kind of life anymore. The company has gotten too big, too complicated. I want a simpler life." "But sir, you're a billionaire." "I know, but I learned that money isn't everything." Alexander distributed most of his shares in the company among the employees. He kept only a small portion for himself. He sold the big penthouse, sold the luxury cars, sold the jewelry. Then he rented a small apartment and really started living a simple life. During this time, he couldn't get news from Emma. He learned that Emma's cafe had closed, that she had started working at another job. A month later, Alexander found Emma. She was now working at another cafe, a smaller, older place. Alexander went there. When Emma saw him, she still acted cold. "What do you want, Alexander?" "Emma, will you listen to me one last time?" Emma pretended to be busy with another customer. "I resigned from Stone Enterprises," Alexander said. Emma was surprised. "What?" "I left the company. I sold my shares, sold my house, sold my car. I'm not a billionaire anymore." Emma looked at him, unable to decide whether to believe it or not. "Why did you do this?" "Because you were right. I was trying to impress you with money, but you wanted something different from me. Honesty. And I want to be honest with you." Emma listened silently. "Now I have a small consulting company. I don't make much money, but I live an honest life, and I'd rather lose everything than lose you." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Alexander, Emma, forgive me. Give me one more chance. Let's start right this time. I'm Alexander Stone, owner of a small consulting company, a man who loves you." Emma looked at him for a long time. Then she slowly smiled. "Okay, Alexander, but this time, no lies." "No lies," Alexander said and kissed Emma. 6 months later, Alexander and Emma got married. The wedding was held at Emma's newly reopened small cafe. Among the guests were Alexander's former employees, Emma's family, and all the neighborhood residents. Victoria wasn't invited. She was vacationing in Europe with her third billionaire fiancé at the time. Alexander was no longer a big CEO, but he had never been happier. Together with Emma, they reopened Emma's Corner, and now it was among New York's most beloved cafes. "Do you regret it?" Emma asked one day, hugging Alexander. "Regret what?" "The billions you lost," Alexander smiled. "Emma, I now have my real fortune." "Why?" "Because I have real love, and that's more valuable than any amount of wealth." Emma hugged him tightly. "I love you so much, Alexander Stone." "I love you too, Emma Stone." And so Alexander learned that real love cannot be bought with money. Sometimes life's most precious gifts come from the most unexpected places. What do you think? Did Alexander make the right choice? What would you have done if you were in Victoria's place? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Don't forget to click on the videos at the end of the screen for more touching stories.